Now the question is it truly possible to break old patterns successfully? The answer is yes. Completely possible, yes. But completely does not always mean the memory disappears. It means the pattern no longer controls you. That distinction matters. A healed person may still remember the urge to please people, but they no longer automatically abandon themselves. A person who healed from toxic relationships may still notice old attraction patterns, but now they recognize the warning signs instead of walking blindly into them. Someone who used to react with anger may still feel anger, but they no longer become possessed by it. Healing is not becoming emotionless. It is becoming conscious. That is real freedom. Many people think transformation is fake because they are waiting to never struggle again. But maturity is not the absence of temptation, or fear, or insecurity, or old impulses. It is gaining authority over them. The old pattern may knock, definitely. You just stop opening the door. And over time, the knocking gets quieter. The brain is increasingly adaptable. This is one of the most hopeful things about being a human. Through repetition, awareness, and intentional change, the brain literally rewires itself. Neural pathways that were once dominant become weaker when they are no longer reinforced. Unused pathways fade, practiced pathways strengthen. That means the more you practice peace, the more natural peace becomes. The more you practice boundaries, the less guilt controls you. The more you choose healthy relationships, the more dysfunctional relationships start feeling unattractive. The more you stop feeding destructive cycles, the less power they have over you. People underestimate how much repetition shapes identity. You did not become your old self in one day. You became that version through repeated experiences, repeated thoughts, repeated reactions, repeated survival responses. The same is true for healing. But here is where people get discouraged. Breaking patterns usually happens in layers. At first, you recognize the pattern after it happens. Then eventually, while it is still happening, then before it happens, then finally you stop doing it altogether. That progression is massive growth. A person who once exploded in anger for 3 days may later calm down in 3 hours, then 30 minutes, then choose not to react at all. That is healing in motion. Many people fail because they expect instant perfection. Then one setback convinces them, see, I haven't changed. No. A setback is not your identity. A moment is not your future. Progress is not destroyed because you stumbled. One of the biggest lies people believe is, if I still struggle with it sometimes, I must not be healed. That is false, false, false. Healing is shown in recovery, speed, awareness, accountability, and changed behavior over time. Another important truth, some people break dramatically, others break gradually. And sometimes a person wakes up one day and finally says, I'm done. And the pattern loses power quickly. Other times it is like untangling knots, one thread at a time. Both are valid. And yes, Some people undergo astonishing transformation. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a flu. The insecure person becomes confident. The addicted person becomes disciplined. The fearful person becomes courageous. The bitter person becomes peaceful. The people pleaser becomes boundaried. The self-hating person learns self-respect. Human beings are far more changeable than they realize, but real change usually requires honesty, not performance, not inspiration, not pretending. Honesty. What am I getting from this pattern? What pain keeps feeding it? What environment reinforces it? What belief about myself keeps recreating this? What am I afraid would happen if I changed? That level of honesty changes lives. Environment matters too. Trying to heal while surrounded by people who normalize dysfunction is like trying to stay dry while standing in the rain. Sometimes growth requires distance, new routines, new voices, new influences, new standards. And one of the most powerful parts of healing is this. Eventually, what once felt impossible starts feeling unnatural. The chaos that once excited you starts exhausting you. The attention that once begged for no longer impresses you. The behavior you once tolerated becomes unacceptable. The habits you once defended become embarrassing. The version of you that once felt normal starts feeling foreign. That is when you realize you are becoming someone new, not fake, not pretending, not actually or acting, actually changed. And yes, there are people walking around today who have completely broken patterns they once thought would define them forever. One of them was sitting right in front of you. Cycles of abuse, generational trauma, addiction, self-sabotage, chronic negativity, toxic relationship cycles, victim mentalities, fear-based living. People break free of these cycles every day. Not because they are superhuman, because I'm not superhuman, but because eventually the pain of staying the same became greater than the discomfort of changing. That is often the turning point. It was for me. And here is something beautiful. When one person truly heals, they often interpret patterns for future generations too. A mother heals and her children experience a different childhood. A father learns emotional regulation and the home atmosphere changes. One person learns boundaries and an entire family dynamic shifts. Healing spreads, but it starts with someone deciding, this pattern may explain me, but it does not get to own me forever. And that decision is powerful.